Hello everybody, it's and HW here with another stream for you. Good to see you all. Gonna have a not very long stream. It is Mother's Day after all. Gonna go hang out with my wife. It is her first year as a mother, and so we are going to be doing that all day. But before I get into fatherly duties of Mother Day, we're gonna go ahead and watch Soothsayer versus Xiphos for a best of 5. So welcome to the stream, everybody. I'm sure we'll have a great best of 5 ahead of us today after an awesome tournament from yesterday. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Good to see you. All right, let's go ahead, take off this army blocker in my ugly face, and get to the battle at hand, guys. So should be a good one. Starting off with our blue player, we got Xiphos bringing the Skaven to the field, and then our red player will be Soothsayer bringing Norska to the field of battle. Should have a good fight ahead of us, chat. Okay, looks like everything's off my screen, and here we go into the battle. I'll try not to move my camera so much. I know I have a bad habit of doing that, so I'm trying to work on my camera work. I'm too fidgety. I move my camera like a player, like I'm always moving it, and strafing and panning left and right. Uh-oh, got other ODMs calling you out now, buddy. That's good that they exchange information, though. I just realized I don't think I shut down spectator slots, so let's make sure we got no spectators in here. Nope, just the 3 of us, good. Don't want any spectators lagging this up. Nice big maps for this best of 5 final. Give these players plenty of room to maneuver. I usually try to avoid big maps like this for the early stages of tournaments because it takes forever, but here we go. Let's go ahead and check how the connection seems to be. Ooh, it seems to be running okay. Yeah, it's running smoothly. Hopefully not too much lag up. There's a little hiccup there, of course. Now, let's go ahead and check out this Norscan army being brought by our red player, Tlaxtlan Soothsayer. Now, in this army, we're going to see a lot of infantry. Now, starting with the infantry, we are going to see 4 units of Marauders, 2 units of Marauder Berserkers, as well as 1 unit of Marauder Hunters with Javelins. He's going to have a Chaos Chariot, 2 units of Norscan Warhounds, and a 3rd being the Beast of Tashnar, Regiment Renowned with that bonus versus large. He is then going to have 3 units of Skinwolves, just the regular variant, and he is also going to have the Mistdocker Fimir Warriors Regiment of Renown with that stock ability. Now, for the rest of the army, taking a big wide glance, make sure I don't miss anything. It does appear our leadership will consist of a Shaman Sorcerer of Death atop a horse, going to be bringing Doom and Darkness, Spirit Leech, Aspect of the Dread Knight, and Life Leeching. I like these choices. Aspect of the Dread Knight and Doom and Darkness is very useful for terror bombs against the low Skaven leadership, and you got that Spirit Leech to deal with Skaven leadership, like leadership units. Now, for Marauder Chieftain is going to be our hero leading this army, and he will be on top of a chariot with absolutely nothing else. Now, moving on to our blue player. Going to go ahead and check this Skaven army out and go from there. Alright, and we will go back to this army, and chat, I will get to whatever's going on there later. So, for this army, we're going to see what appears to be 4 units of Skaven Slaves. In the backline, we are then going to have 4 units of Clan Rats with Spears. Aside from this, we are going to have, I'll make that 5 Clan Rats with Spears. We are then going to have a healthy number of Clan Rats, just 2 of them sitting there, as well as, no, just kidding, 3 Clan Rats and 2 Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield. Next to the Storm Vermin Sword and Shield, we're going to have some Doom players here. Doom players are going to be very threatening, I'm sure, as this battle progresses. Everybody's talking about how OP they are. We'll see if Norscan can cope with them. Now, aside from that, to get some mass in this army, we have 2 units of Rat Ogres to help pin down any Norscan chariots, perhaps. And then for the range contingents, we will have 2 units of, well, are these both Rattling Guns? Yeah, so 2 units of Rattling Gun weapons teams, perhaps try and use that Suppress ability for the minus 36% speed on top of some of those important units like mammoths and slow them down on the approach. Now, for the Skaven leadership, we are going to have nothing but this lovely Gracier of Plague, going to be bringing with him Vermintide, Arcane Conduit, Bless with Filth, as well as the Unholy Clamor and Scorch with Plague Rash. Here go the players. Battle starting off now, and let's go ahead and take a higher level view at what these two guys are doing. So, going to see Norse go with a very wide formation here. Infantry in two groups splitting around the little pond in the center of this map, and then he's going to have some Skinwolves and Warhounds on the far right flank, and then the majority of his mobility over here in the forest hidden, pushing forward, with the chariots in the rear playing it safe in case there's any Skaven artillery or something ready to snipe them down. The Fimmer Miststalkers doing a cheeky little sneaky move back here in the rear, going to be sneaking up with their stock ability. Skaven more straightforward, got some meat shields on the outside to tar pit the units coming in to slow them down, so the Rattling Gun weapons teams can get some good damage done in there. And the chariots there are going to dive out, it seems, to attack infantry and support the Skaven slaves in combat and stuff like that against Marauder Berserkers. Now, both players bringing a good army here. I like them both, and we'll see how this goes for the two of them. Norskin's going to continue using the forest to conceal their movement, not wanting to show his hand until he absolutely needs to. I agree with that decision. Now, those guys are in the forest, along with the Sorcerer and one of the Skinwolves. One of the Skinwolves coming out of the forest, chasing away those Doomflayers, recognizing the threat they pose to this fragile Norskin infantry when it comes to chariots. Over here, however, we'll see, will somebody get out in time? It looks like some Norskin Warhounds coming out of the forest, revealing their positions to scare away these Doomflayers, make them think twice about coming this far out of position to get on top of some of these lowly Marauders. Both players playing this very, very safe, recognizing that they both have plenty of tools to hurt each other. And Norska, I like this approach. You can see he's slowly moving everything, and once more in the tactical view, he's moving everything into position equally around the Skaven army before he engages. That way the Skaven can't focus on his army piecemeal as they come in one by one. So right now, you know, he's going forward, pulling back, going forward, pulling back, and making sure he gets a nice surround across the Skaven army. Uh-oh, the Fimmer Miststalkers have been revealed, however. So where are they going to go? And it looks like they're going to stay on the other side of this hump, where it is relatively safe from the Skaven because they have nothing with a firing arc to fire over this hill. So Rattling Gun weapons team going to be fairly benign until these guys go over the crest and into the avenue of fire. Right now, Rattling Gun weapons team going to open fire into the Marauder Berserkers, doing quite a lot of work and slowing them down to a meager 24 speed, basically that of a Dowie. How sad for those Marauders. But now the Norskins have started to close the vice. They are surrounding the Skaven army, and we're running into a little bit more lag, which is a bummer for this, but here we go. Oh, it's going into slow motion just so we can see an epic shot of these Norskin Warhounds just getting pummeled by rat ogres and Gatling gun fire. So going up to the higher level here, let's take a look as these engagements start going down. Skaven going to start trying to react as best they can. Don't sure where these Skaven slaves are going, but it looks like the clan rats are going to start bracing themselves for the Fimmer to come in. And the Fimmer are wisely going to turn right back around and start pulling to the other side of the crest of this hill again. Over here, though, it does look like the Norseman chariots have made their place. Skinwolves diving in two on top of clan rats. We got the Beast of Tashnar and other units. Everybody is diving in. And the Norskins have begun their assault across the Skaven line. But the Skaven doing a good job, as you can see, of keeping a lot of these units out, except for this big, juicy center, where we're going to see some Skinwolves as well as the Marauder Chieftain all dive in, shut down one of those Rattling Guns weapons teams. But we'll see who comes out on top. There's a lot of Skinwolves in here, but with some Clan Rat Spears, it's not going to be the engagements they want to be stuck in. However, we have more Marauders coming out here to reinforce, and Soothsayer is continuing to pull his chariots through and bring more of these Skinwolves down to bear. But Skinwolves versus Rat Ogres should go very well for the Skinwolves. They have that bonus versus large. Don't need to worry about any armor since the Rat Ogres have none to speak of. But over here, look at this. It looks like Norseman's got a big break. A lot of routing going down here. A little bit of terror, it would seem, coming in from that aspect of the Dread Knight and Doom and Darkness going down. As you can hear it right now, just screaming that high-pitched scream. So wow, this battle's going crazy. Going to take a little bit of a higher level view here, seeing down here that the Stormburner Sword and Shield are doing well against the Marauder Berserkers. But here in the center, it's just a complete mess. Everybody is mixed in together. We have Rad Ogres on top of Skinwolves. We have Rad Ogres over here duking it out with the Chieftain and some Clan Rats. The Grayseer over here as well. So it seems like a ton of Skaven chaff in the center, and it's just overwhelming the Norskin units that were able to penetrate and get in there. Rad Ogres aren't doing too well, but the Skinwolves are getting chewed down by these Clan Rat Spears. So right now, could be anybody's game, but after initial impressions, I think the Skaven are looking pretty strong considering their Lord is so healthy, but Femir Miststalkers still very close to full health, and we still have the Marauder Chieftain looking healthy too, and that Chariot is not going to be something to take lightly. However, Rad Ogre's diving into the back of it right now, and we'll see if that Marauder Chieftain can get out of there before it's too late. Alright, checking on over here, we're going to see what appears to be the Doomflayers wavering as some Skinwolves are chasing them down. Trying to pull through the Stormbringer Sword and Shield, but it's just not going well for them. And I have to be honest, guys, this is one of those battles where I'm kind of just losing track of what's actually happening. I mean, taking a high-level view, there's this blue and red mixed every which way, and there's wavering on both sides. And there's heroes now meeting here in the center, looking like they're getting ready to have a big duel. And we're about to see the Marauder Chieftain pivot around along with the Shaman Sorcerer of Death and perhaps do a pincher maneuver on top of this Grayseer plate. We have the Femir Miststalkers getting on top of that Grayseer, and that's going to be a huge problem. Grayseer needs to get out of there. These guys have armor piercing, armor sundering, magical damage. And that's just not going to be combat that the Grayseer wants to be in on top of his Chariot. And right now, Doomflayer is also getting hammered down by him. And the Skaven looking like they're getting chased around the field at the moment because of these Fimir Warriors. I just don't know what they're going to do to deal with Fimir Warriors, and the Skaven Chariots are being effectively shut down by all these Skinwolves now. Here comes another summon from those Skaven, though, and Doomplayer's coming with their rear charge, going to get a big rout on top of some Marauder Berserkers and two Skinwolves. And the Grayseer Plague coming in there, sealing it off with some terror. Now, this battle just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. The balance of power is dead even. Fimir Miststalkers, to me, are looking like the ace in the hole for the Norskins right now, but if the Skaven can shut down those Miststalkers, they could still bring this back in their favor, just because the Chariots they have online will be able to take care of all of the Norskin infantry. The Skinwolves are all looking a lot really worse for wear, and yeah, really the only thing I think that has enough power left in it to deal with the Chariots that the Skaven up in the field are going to be these Miststalkers. But the Miststalkers don't get on top of this Grayseer quick, then he's going to be terror routing everything over time. And these Skinwolves keep on coming back. They do have regeneration, but they're taking some model casualties. But man, what a close damn fight. Over here, Doomflayer is continuing to waver. The Grayseer with his Bell of Doom, or whatever the hell it's called, is just going to continue pushing forward, impervious to anything that's hitting him. He has this lovely little posse of Clan Rats and Skaven slaves accompanying him at all times. And yeah, Norska's just having a hard time, not putting on the damage, but a hard time surviving the terror. They get in range of this damn Grayseer, terror kicks in, and it just makes it really hard for the Skaven to get out. But as I'm talking, look at this, a huge charge coming in from multiple angles. We're going to see two Skaven slaves being routing almost immediately. We're going to see that Clan Rat summon coming down. Clan Rats with spears hanging by a thread, but Jesus Christ, everybody is just in this blob, and Rat Ogres are wavering and routing. The leadership on the Skinwolves is getting incredibly low. We have some Rattling Gun weapons teams that were firing in a moment ago. And this match has just been a complete slugfest. Is Norska bringing it back now? I can't tell. This battle is insane. Fimir Miststalkers still have 12 models and just above half health. So the balance of power is starting to creep in favor of the Norskins at this point, but I'm still not convinced this is over. I mean, I guess if the Norskins can keep the pressure up and continue chasing a lot of these routing Skaven units, then they can just get this victory done via route. But if the Skaven start regrouping, as they're known to do, because they route quite a lot, then, yeah, I don't know. The terror is on the side of the Skaven. Granted, the Norskins still have that aspect of the Dread Knight in their back pocket. I believe. Where did their caster go? Yep, there's their caster. So they still have terror at their disposal as well, as long as they time it right with that spell. This is absolutely insane. There go the Skaven. The Norskins looking to be in a stronger position by the second, though. I love that Xiphos is playing this so close to the chest, though. He's going around with his Plague Priest, routing infantry and trying to regroup his spears and so forth. And now he is diving in over here. Going to be seeing Unholy Clamor, Blessed Filth being popped down there too, giving everybody poison damage. And, you know, the Skaven aren't through here yet. Looks like Xiphos still doing his best to regroup and get his forces together. Because, I mean, as long as he has a healthy number of spears around him, this Gracier of Plague will be able to survive. And I say that because the Skinwolves, the Fimir Mistalkers, are really his only threat. And as long as he has enough of these anti-large chaff units, he can do okay. But looks like we're going to see a concession of defeat there. And who did it? I'm guessing it was Xiphos. Yeah, so Xiphos going to concede defeat right there. And Soothsayer are going to take that in a very close first match between these two excellent players. I mean, Stormbringer Sword and Shield getting some excellent kills. Xiphos playing that very, very well. Chariot's doing well for themselves. But most importantly, I think his Gracier of Plague was the MVP there. Really getting some key terror routes and doing a lot of damage over time. Norskin player, on the other hand, Soothsayer here, 138 kills on top of that Marauder Chieftain. But let us not forget the important role the Shaman Sorcerer played in assisting with getting those terror routes because of aspect of the Dread Knight and Doom and Darkness. So very good there. Great kills on some of these Marauders. The Marauder Berserkers, some great kills. Chariot, solid kills. I mean, all around, this Norscan army performed very well in terms of kills, with the exception of a few units. But Mistalkers, probably going to be the MVP for me there, along with the Skinwolves, just because they were able to take care of the Chariots, and the Mistalkers just were the most threatening unit and continue to be the ace in the hole, and in my opinion, keep the balance of power so far in favor of the Norskins throughout that fight. So, well played to both players, but the first round will be going to Soothsayer. I need to practice against you more. We should play some best of fives during the streams this week, Falcon, so I can beat you one day. In any case, let's get to the battle at hand. So let's start with our red player once again. We're going to have 5 units of Dread Spears from these Dark Elves. Aside from that, Soothsayer has also brought us a unit of Dark Riders, as well as 4 units of Cold One Knights. He is then going to have a unit of Cold One Dread Knights, and then they will be backed up by Nesh's Harvesters, Regiment Renowned, Doomfire Warlocks, and then we'll also have a single unit of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows ready to shoot in that armor-piercing supporting fire. Up in the air, we're going to have Marathi for Mother's Day. Hi, Mom. Good to see you, Marathi. She is everybody's, dream mother, right? Who doesn't want a mom like Marathi? She's going to have Wand of Karadin for that Bound Doombolt. Going to have Soul Stealer, Power of Darkness, as well as Heartrender and the Dark Sword with Enchanting Beauty, Greater Arcane Conduit, and Life Leeching. Now, rounds out the Dark Elf army now. What have the High Elves brought for us? So, checking out Xiphos' army, we're going to have some Illyrian Reavers Vanguard deployed in a precarious position. We're going to see 3 Illyrian Reaver Archers up front. We're then going to see 4 units of High Elf Spearmen, and then we're going to see 3 Dragon Princes, one of them being the Fireborn Regiment of Renown. Over here, I do worry about these poor Illyrian Reavers, who will immediately be got by Dark Riders and Slaaneshi Harvesters. For the leadership of the High Elf army, we're going to have a single noble on top of a horse. He's going to be naked, just there to support for bonus versus large armor piercing. Guys, I cannot stop burping. Something's wrong with me. And then we're going to see Alariel the Radiant on top of her Great Eagle. She's going to have Star of Averlorn, Arcane Conduit, Earthblood, as well as Foz Protection, Shieldstone of Isha, Shield of Safari, and Life Bloom. That will be it. Good luck, have fun. And then let's check out this combat over here. Both players have some cavalry nearby to support in this engagement, so we will see who comes out on top. And look, now it's just the Slaneshi Harvesters. We may very well see the Slaneshi Harvesters peel off and retreat from that, or because neither player will see each other's heavy cav contingents, we may see both players rush over here to try to win some free points on top of what they perceive to be unsuspecting vanguarded units. So let's see how this part breaks down right now. They're going to see each other, and it looks like the Illyrian Reavers are going to immediately pull back. Damn, guys, I have to apologize. It looks like one of our players is just not the best connection or something. But yeah, Illyrian Reaver archers are going to immediately pull back through the forest and try to escape from the Slaneshi's Harvesters. Slaneshi's Harvesters are going to run at them vigorously without any care in the world, and I think that's a good play from Soothsayer, although I disagree. He should have baited him a bit further before he brought out his Dragon Princes. He could have caught them. But now, the High Elves are pushing out, and the Dark Elves now have the secret units hidden in the forest. Cold One Knights are going to be pushing forward with some Dread Spears, and it looks like the High Elves are going to see that movement and start pulling back their right flank, recognizing this isn't an area they want to commit because they only have cavalry. The Dark Elves have cavalry with infantry support, which is a really important difference. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, fuck it. The cavalry fighting the cavalry who has infantry support will lose. Bata Daisy, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it greatly. But checking out the High Elf left flank, the Dark Elf right flank, we see the Illyrian Reaver archers coming over here and trying to target these Cold One Knights. I imagine just trying to do just enough damage to cause a rampage and get these guys to go off target and run around stupidly so the High Elves can seclude them and kill them piecemeal. High Elf right flank is continuing to pull back. I like this. Both of these players very high level. Xiphos recognizing, hey, there's no rush. He's pivoting his whole army into the forest. I'm not going to go charge into the forest with my cavalry because that will slow them down and give his army the best advantage for those Dread Spears. So he has the range advantage with the 3 Illyrian Reaver archers who have taken no damage, and so he's going to take his sweet time doing this. And look at this, the Dragon Prince is getting a nice charge on these Dread Spears. You're wondering, why is he hitting them from the front? It's because they were running. Unless they are holding still, they don't have a charged defense against large. So right there, a nice, easy win of 500 points for the High Elves. And sorry, Dread Spears are actually like 475 or something, I think, or 450. But in any case, still getting that unit, wiping it out completely, removing that option from the Dark Elves. And trust me, late game, that will matter. You know, 1 unit Spearman can be the difference between victory and defeat, as we saw in the match yesterday. And now the High Elves are going to go ahead and try and increase their number to 2. So taking out some of these pawns early in the battle usually pays dividends as the game progresses. And all of the High Elf cavalry is completely healthy at this point. Same with the Dark Elves for the most part. So the cav game is pretty even, but the High Elves have evened up the scoreboard when it comes to the infantry engagements. So, Illyrian Reaver Archer is going to continue pushing around far on that flank, while the High Elf Cavalry is just going to dive into the center for engagements against all of the Dark Elf Cav. A rear charge coming in from these Dark Riders. Star of Avalorn are going to go down, and it's only going to be hitting the Fireborn. And then we're going to see a big overcast Foz protection on top of everybody in this area too. And we'll see who comes out on top, but it looks like those Dragon Princes are getting some really good engagements on top of these Cold One Knights and should be able to take them out. But here comes the Doom Bolt on top of those Dragon Princes. All the Illyrian Reaver archers are now in the back line, firing into the backs of all of these Dark Elf Dread Spears, doing so much damage, even getting a nice rear charge there. And the High Elves are looking like they're in a really strong position right now, as they have just routed 2 of the Cold One Knights in that central engagement. As well as hurting these Dark Riders. But as I speak, we're seeing the Fireborn here, or the Illyrian Reavers here routing, the Fireborn wavering. These Dragon Princes over here are still doing well, and it does look like the High Elf Infantry has come out surprisingly very much on top. 5 Dread Spears right now. It looks like 3 of those Dread Spears are dead to rights, or 2 of those Dread Spears are dead to rights completely, and only these 2 are going to be online moving forward. Okay, here in the central engagement, we're going to see the Noble duking it out with the Dark Riders, the Slaanesha's Harvesters, Dragon Prince is in there to support, Lyrian Reaver Archers diving in from the rear to help support with that morale penalty from the rear charge. And right now, Balance of Power is dead even completely, so we're going to see the Repeater Crossbows fighting against the Lyrian Reaver Archers. Not their favorite matchup, since the Lyrian Reaver Archers do outrange them. But now as this battle is progressing, we're seeing these Cold One Dread Knights coming in. Dragon Princes are killed, Nobles are getting killed, Morathi is using her Spirit Legion, doing a ton of damage, and the Dark Elves are starting to take this away now, guys. Slaaneshi Harvesters still looking very, very fine, very healthy. We're going to see most of the High Elf Cav has now been dealt with. In fact, the most Cav they have on the field is going to be Illyrian Reaver Archers. And right now, a lot of them are getting dealt with by Cold One Knights. So Balance of Power is steadily creeping more and more in favor of the Dark Elves. And in spite of what looked like some initial good engagements from the High Elves, looks like Soothsayer's Dark Elves are still going to be able to come out on top against Xiphos here. Alariel is a great lord, but it's not like she dishes out enough damage to kill the rest of these Dark Elves by herself. And just looking across the field, I mean, I'm trying to see High Elf forces regrouping. Got some Dragon Princes there with 4 models. Got Spearmen who are still relatively healthy in some areas of the battlefield. But by and large, this battle looks like it's over, and I think we're going to see a concession from Xiphos once again. Being a great player and having unstable internet. Wow, that was... Yeah, very nice fight to both of them. Another good fight. I think Xiphos in the early game played that very, very well. And I think, unfortunately, that central engagement just didn't go his way. But, I mean, look at the damage he did to the Cold One Knights. Really good work. But the Cold One Dread Knights and the Doompire Warlocks were what tipped the scale and completely swung this battle in favor of Soothsayer. And I got to give Morathi a shout out too. That Soul Stealer there really helped turn the tide as well. So great game to Xiphos, though. He was getting some really good engagements. I love seeing that kind of playstyle. It was very surgical and precise. I'm just going to peel off units that are straggling, that are vulnerable. So some really high-level gameplay, and I like to see that. These Illyrian Reaver Archers, in my opinion, were utilized very, very well. So let's throw up that army blocker one more time and update that scoreboard. And now Soothsayer is up with a 2-0 lead, guys. Do you think Neoama, sorry, I always say your name wrong, but you may be absolutely right, and maybe Soothsayer will take this 3-0 against Xiphos, or will Xiphos be bringing this back? Alright guys, here we go. So, we got Wood Elves versus Bretonnia. Let's start off with the huge army here. Bretonnia being led by Soothsayer. Tlaxtlan Soothsayer is going to have a very large army. It's consisting of 4 peasant mob, what appears to be 5 spearmen-at-arms, as well as 5 men-at-arms with shields. He is then going to have 4 units of archers, one of them with fire arrows, the rest just regular. He's going to have 2 knights errant, and the regiment are now knights errant, bringing it up to 3. The defenders of the Fleur de Lis, beautiful unit indeed. He's going to have some Knights of the Realm, and then he's going to have 2 units, or a single unit of Grell Knights, it would seem. So, oh no, sorry, my bad. Yeah, Knights of the Realm and 2 units of Grell Knights. So, very heavy cav build with a lot of chaff infantry, as well as some archers. So, I mean, a bit of everything in this build. He is also going to have a Prophetess of Life on a horse, bringing nothing but Arcane Conduit, Earthblood, and Life Bloom. So very bare bones caster lord, just going straight for a huge army, not worrying about the lord aspect of it. Now for the Wood Elves, starting with the infantry here, we are going to see 2 Aserai War Dancers with spears. We are then going to see a good number of Eternal Guard, which is going to be 4. So these guys have bonus versus large and armor piercing, so they could be very useful here. Let's go ahead and hide that foliage since it looks like we'll be fighting a lot in the forest this battle. Now, aside from that, we're going to have 3 units of Way Watchers to get that armor piercing damage done from very far distance at 190 range. We are going to have 3 units of Cav, which is going to consist of 3 Wild Riders. And then for the leadership portion of this army, we are going to be seeing a Spellsinger of Life with the Power Stone, Earthblood, and Life Bloom. And then we are also going to see over here what appears to be a Glade Lady, Glade Lord Lady variant with Prey of Anathrema, Arrow of Kurnos, and that is it. So, good luck, have fun to both players, and we'll take it from there. And yeah, looking at the deployment, going to have the Wood Elves mostly focused here in the forest, where they'll have the most combat buffs, and they can slow down the Bretonnian Cav. And then he'll have his Way Watchers out here, protected by his Wild Riders, to try and snipe down what I'm guessing is the enemy elite Cav. Because Wild Riders can honestly kill all of the Bretonnian infantry by themselves. Like, if you put these armies in a vacuum, took away all of the Bretonnian Cav, those 3 Wild Riders could kill this entire army of infantry by themselves if they were managed properly. I kid you not. The Spearmen could pose a threat, but if you microed your Cav well, you can still kill them, I think. Over here, it looks like the lady is going to start shooting these archers and killing models off as quickly as possible. Yeah, just going to be sniping down those poor peasant arrow boys. And here come the Way Watchers with a big volley into them too. And it looks like the the Wood Elves, aside, if they can't shoot the cavalry, are going to content themselves with killing off the archers, which I can't disagree with. Dozen archers very cost effective at 400, so it makes sense to kill them. And look, Wild Riders coming in here from Xiphos, getting pulled out very quickly. And as I mentioned, the damage they get on these lightly armored infantry units is absolutely disgusting. They also cause fear, which is very useful against low-tier infantry that the Bretonnians tend to bring to the field. But at this moment, Wild Riders are going to be pulling back away from all the Bretonnian infantry, and we're also going to be seeing the Bretonnian Cav coming forward, and this is where they need to be careful because Bretonnian Cav can take a ton of damage from these Way Watchers, but they're actually going to be microed very well by Soothsayer, turn around in the nick of time, and barely take any damage from those very, very expensive Way Watcher rounds. Over here, that Peasant Bowman almost dead to rights. I honestly would have liked to have seen that on top of the Florida Lee Knights, because their shields are on the left flank. They would have been hitting them on their unshielded side, and these units are much more valuable than those peasant archers. For right now, Wild Riders are going to continue diving in, doing a ton of damage, and just continuing to pull in and out, pull in and out. A nice Earthblood being cast there from Xiphos, Spellsinger of Life, paying for herself there, and the Way Watchers just got another volley on top of the Grail Knights. This time, it actually landed pretty successfully. And now they're running away, these Men-at-Arms and Peasant Mob getting on top of them, but those guys just really suck in combat, and even the Way Watchers can do okay against them. Right now, Wild Riders continuing to dive in and out, and look at all the damage they've done to these cheap Bretonnian infantry. Bretonnian infantry, obviously, that's what it's meant to be there for, but good job by the Wood Elf player here, doing a lot of damage on the approach before the Bretonnians can close the gap. And look, all of this Bretonnian infantry is still quite far away out of position, and he's done a ton of damage to the Bretonnian infantry that's close to him. Alright, Wild Riders getting pulled through the Eternal Guard line into the rear, and I have to say I'm really liking how Xiphos is playing this. He's taken very little damage. Similar to the last game, he's doing a good job of focusing on units piecemeal and getting the damage done across the board. But here we go. We have the Grail Knights and Knights Errant diving in here. Prey of Anathrema going down. War Dancers, as well as some Eternal Guard, are nearby to support, and it looks like these Grail Guardians are going to get surrounded by a lot of units, and a snipe attempt is going down. Also curious to see if these Wild Riders come out after these Knights Errants and try to take them out for good, or if this Glade Lady comes out and tries to take care of the Damsel. The Damsel would be a very juicy target. If he can take out the Bretonnian healing in this fight, the Wood Elves would be in such a strong position moving forward. Knights Errant's getting routed by the Wild Riders there, and Way Watcher still in the pocket, full health and firing their ammo over here at the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis and the Knights of the Realm. But right now it looks like the jig is about to be up. Azrai Spears are in front of these Way Watchers right now, and Eternal Guard are coming in to help support, whereas the front line of the Wood Elves up here is actually still remaining firm. So we will see if the Wood Elves can react to this overwhelming number of cavalry coming in from the Bretonnians, or if they're about to start losing to Way Watchers. But right now I think the Wood Elves are handling this very well. Bretonnians are diving into the forest where the Wood Elves want to be in their engagements, getting their engagements, and yeah, it looks like Bretonnia is really struggling to get around here, but as I say that, looks like these 3 units of cav are finally going to get to the juicy nut in the center, but I don't know if it will be quickly enough, because the Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis already routing, and now these High Elves can turn their forces around, focus in the center, and perhaps catch this Bretonnian blob of cavalry in the forest, kill them with their spearmen. And if they do that, I think the Wood Elves got this in the bag. The Wood Elves, if they can neutralize all this Bretonnian cav in the forest right now, a lot of routes going off. Rail Guardians routing there. See some Knights of the Realm shattered there. See these guys getting ready to rout. The Knights Errant, another unit of Knights Errant already routed off. The Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis shattered. And if the Wood Elves take care of this cav engagement, then they will have their just the time of their lives running around with Wild Riders killing off peasants. Checking the Wood Elf numbers, it looks like Wild Rider here just over half health, just under half health. And where is that 3rd unit? Oh, and the 3rd unit over here is still looking close to full health, along with this the Glady and the Spellsinger of Life, who are also still healthy. Now, wait a minute, where did that Spellsinger of Life go, actually? Oh yeah, there she is. So right now, this is looking really good for the Wood Elves, I have to say. Xiphos playing this so well. And he may be beating Bretonnia as long as he continues to play it the way he's playing it. And right now, Way Watchers getting out of the pocket, pulling around wide on this side, recognizing most of the Bretonnian cav is neutralized. In fact, is there any Bretonnian cav on the field? No. Guys, all of the Bretonnian cav has been killed. Soothsayer is going to withdraw, and that will be a Wood Elf victory in the 3rd battle of this best of 5. So who expected that? Well, this is the match for number 2. Yeah. That was the Wild Riders, man. MVPs so hard. The micro game from Xiphos here was played next to perfectly. That was a beautiful, beautiful game. And yeah, I really liked the cohesion he had in his army. Those Azrai Spears combined with the Wild Riders with some Eternal Guard was absolutely a devastating combination. And that was a hard battle to win. This is like the stereotypical, how do you kill a Wood Elf army? And Xiphos is able to beat it with a much smaller force, getting crazy kills on these Wild Riders. He played that beautifully. That was a wonderful game from Xiphos. And once again, proving, because this is what pisses me off right now, guys. Everybody in this game is constantly complaining about how it's broken, and everybody has their own opinion, and everybody's opinion is different. Surprise. But this is what I try to tell everybody. No matter how bad the matchup is, good players can win it. Xiphos beat Soothsayer. Wood Elves into Bretonnia. That is like one of the hardest matchups in the game, in my opinion. One of the ones I do agree generally with people that, yeah, Wood Elves really struggle. And I would agree that if these guys played 9 times out of 10, maybe Soothsayer would win in most maps. But Xiphos was able to win it in this tournament setting, so stop complaining about balance. You can pull it off if you try hard enough and you play well enough, and Xiphos played that perfectly. And yeah, it's a hard matchup, but if you do it right and you play like a beast, then you can do it. So power to Xiphos there, getting his name up on the board with the score, and we'll see what he brings into these next matches. All right, so next map is going to be Altdorf Outskirts. Classic. So here we go. Xiphos' Empire versus Soothsayer's Lizardmen. It is 1-2 for the score, and we're loading into Altdorf Outskirts now. Diplomat Smurfs. But my Sun tournament is authentic. But 4 players, so. We shall all move to Australia for tournament commune. Wicked Science, let's do it. Let's start Warhammer tournament commune in Australia so everybody can be on the same time zone. I like to see the best players play, even if it's the same people every week. Well, God of Gobbles, I mean, my big thing is, like, for instance, Green. Green in yesterday's tournament came in 2nd place. I don't know if he's like a prevalent player that you all know about, but I've never seen Green play, and I was really pleased to see how well he did. So I still think newer players can make a break into these tournaments. It's hard when you have so many people who play consistently and are so good, but there's still new players who are making a name for themselves every now and again. Sweet, Lotus Moon, I'd love to see you in the next one. But yeah, definitely welcome the feedback. There's a feedback section in my Discord, so feel free to throw suggestions and stuff in there. I can't guarantee I'll do it all, but I'm always down to steal good ideas from the people in my chat and Discord who want to shoot them out there, so throw them in there. Yeah, no, Green is a great player, man. Glad he did so well. I think Archon was Yoba yesterday. But in any case, let's get to this battle. So here we go. We got the Empire being brought by our blue player, Xiphos. Xiphos is going to have 4 units of swordsmen. He's going to have 3 units of halberdiers. He's going to have 3 units of spearmen in the back. And then aside from that, we're also going to be seeing 2 units of handgunners, one of them being the Silver Bullets. We're going to have a unit of Demogryph Knights and a second unit of Demogryph Knights. And then we're going to have on the ground here, on foot, a Jade Wizard with Earthblood, Lifebloom, and the Power Stone. And then we're going to see over here a Light Wizard with Net of Mintok on a steed and nothing else. We're going to have Karl Franz up in the air here. One of my favorite lords in the whole damn game. He's so fun to use and he's so good. But I disagree that he doesn't have him completely kitted out. Just kidding. Xiphos knows best. He's going to have on top of Karl Franz the Reichland Runefang Foe Seeker, Hold the Line, as well as Blood Roar. Now, going over here to our Lizardman army, bit of a different approach. So a large army coming here from Soothsayer. Going to have a healthy cav contingent, but starting with the infantry, we're going to see 4 units of Skink Cohort Javelins. We're going to have 1 unit of Skink Skirmishers up front. We're going to have 2 units of Red-Crested Skinks, just a bit behind the Skink Cohort Javelins. And then in the back line, a strong cavalry contingent consisting of 2 Cold One Riders, 1 unit of Horned Ones, and 2 units of Cold One Spear Riders. So these 2 units being combined for the best of both worlds. Now, for the leadership in this army and the monster squad, we're going to have an Ancient Salamander here, ready to blow out those fireballs. Going to have a Skink Priest of Heavens with Wind Blast and Harmonic Convergence. And then we're also going to have, last but certainly not least, a Saurus Oldblood on top of a Carnosaur. Now, the Saurus Oldblood will have the the Horn of Kygor, the Stand Your Ground, Amulet of Itzel, as well as Foe Seeker. Now, that rounds out both of our players' armies, Soothsayer's Lizardman versus Xiphos' Empire. It is 1-2 in Soothsayer's favor. So who will come out on top, guys? Checking out the deployment, going to see the Empire pretty straightforward. Has the swordsman up front to slow down the advance of the Lizardman forces. Got backline of halberds with spearmen in the very back line. And then he's at the cav interdispersed here. And I love this formation. A lot of ability to react to different maneuvers from the Lizardman. He's got those handgunners in the center to fire out in all directions. And yeah, I think he's got a good idea behind this army. The Net of a Mintok will be very valuable. And if he can take care of this Ancient Salamander and this Carnosaur, then he'll be in a very good position for the rest of the fight. And Karl Franz is just one of those heroes that, if you utilize him right, I mean, one thing I really am scared for Karl Franz not having regrowth, because I think regrowth is just absolutely so important for Karl Franz. But is Karl Franz can single-handedly kill a unit of Cold One Spear Riders by himself. Karl Franz can single-handedly kill this Saurus Oldblood by himself, this Ancient Salamander by himself. He just needs to get the right engagements down. So, going to be a lot of micro in this battle, and it's all going to be about who gets the engagements timed right. I think the Lizardmen are going to have to be careful here because their large monster units are going to struggle against Karl Franz not to mention the 2 Demogryph Knights with halberds and the 2 handgunners that are lying in wait. And there's also this Net of Mintok, and right now I guarantee you Soothsayer sees Net of Mintok is on the field, and he recognizes that he needs to play this incredibly cautiously, because if he brings out his Saurus Old Blood in a bad position just once, all it takes is 1 Net of Mintok, good positioning from the Silver Bullets and Karl Franz to make sure that Saurus Old Blood does not return to the Lizardman army. And as we're seeing, it looks like the Lizardmen are going to be pulling back, giving ground even, and trying to look for an opportunity where the Empire perhaps overstretches itself and gets into an awkward position. And right now, it looks like Xiphos hopefully doesn't take the bait. He needs to be careful, because if he takes the bait, he's in for a rude surprise when this hard left flank comes flying in from the Lizardmen. And oh no, what you doing, Karl? Looks like Karl should be able to get out of here without too much issue. Saurus Old Blood is chasing after him, but is going to turn around at the last second. And Demogryph Knight's going to turn back too. So both players playing this very, very cautiously. Fireballs being thrown, javelins being shot out on occasion. And now the King cohort are coming out to engage with these swordsmen. So, Empire Army playing it patiently, pushing forward slowly but surely. They need to keep this formation. If they lose their formation, they will get crushed. That is my prediction. Because if this formation gets sloppy, these Horned Ones and Cold One Spear Riders are going to rush around the flank, and it's going to be hell to pay, and I don't think the Empire will be able to clean them up. But if this formation stays strong, and Xiphos sticks to his plan, stays patient, uses his Net of Mintok wisely, then it should be okay. And right now, I mean, I'm about halfway to telling Soothsayer to attack, but he has pushed forward some units, and his... Okay, there he goes, firing rounds, shooting out his fireball. And, these fireballs need a bit of a nerf, in my opinion. They just seem to do a little bit too much damage for my liking. But there goes Karl Franz, and oh no, is he netting that? I'm not sure about this decision. We will see. Okay, net going in on top of these guys. Okay, cool. Protecting Karl. But everybody diving in around the net. It's about to run out, isn't it? Yeah, the net's about to run out, and then Karl Franz could be in for a world of hurt. He needs to be careful, and there it goes. But here he goes. I mean, I actually like this. This might be a bait attempt from Karl. The Lizardmen not immediately going for it. We're going to be sending Spearmen, Demogryph Knights with halberds in. Meanwhile, across the rest of the line, the Empire is pushing forward with their chaff infantry. Karl Franz was able to get out of there without taking too much damage, honestly. And yeah, looks like right there in that engagement, that's going to be a win for the Empire. They got some good damage down on the Ancient Salamander and some on top of the Spear Riders too. Going to see a big wind blast going down, doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately not hitting the halberd square on like I think it was intended to. Over here, going to see Karl Franz diving in, helping in this fight against the Cold One Riders. And now these Demogryph Knights with halberds pulling back too. And yeah, I have to say, playing this very patiently. Right now, Empire playing this very well. Lizardmen also playing this well. Everybody staying patient. And look at that! The Saurus Old Blood got shot by his own Ancient Salamander. He's going to have some words with him after this battle. Like, hey dude, stop throwing up on me. You throw up fireballs. Over here, Demogryph Knights being used so cautiously. I love this. These Demogryph Knights are being used so conservatively. They're taking care of some Cold One Knights, staying in the back lines, not losing any health, letting a lot of the Empire chaff infantry stay up front, take the brunt of this initial damage, and save these important units for the mid and late game. Silver Bullets doing some good work against the Saurus Old Blood, and I think we may be seeing another Net of Mintok going down. Net of Mintok on top of that Saurus Old Blood. And are we going to see Karl Franz dive in here and try to get a kill, or is he going to... Oh yeah, he's pulling over here actually. So diving into some Horned Ones, trying to kill them off. These Demogryph Knights with halberds just seem like they're in a rough position. And, oh man, is this going to all start going pear-shaped for the Empire now? Wind Blast continuing to go in, deal a lot of damage to that cheap Empire chaff units. To those cheap Empire chaff units. And now the Demogryph Knights are starting to look a bit worse for wear. Bowseeker being popped on top of Karl Franz. But now we have the Ancient Salamander diving in here. We have a lot of Horned Ones, Cold One Spear Riders, all in this big blob. More Cold One Spear Riders coming in to reinforce, and the balance of power is starting to even out and perhaps even go in favor of the Lizardmen as this battle progresses. That was a huge break right there for the Lizardmen forces. The Empire still has a shot here. They have some Demogryph Knights and Halberds, but I mean, looking across the field of battle, a ton of routing units, and now Karl Franz is stuck in a blob of Velociraptors with a T-Rex on top of them, and I think that is going to be all she wrote. The Empire doing some really good getting some really good initial engagements, but there was just that snap in the middle of the Empire line, some terror routes, and now Karl Franz is singled out and getting chased down by a horde of angry lizards, and I just don't know how in the hell he's going to get out of there. Going to see the Reikland Runefang going down on top of him, increasing his melee attack and leadership, and Karl is making a run for it. Looks like he may be... Oh, he's in the air! What can Karl do from here, though? Empire army is looking like it's very much in tatters across the field. Reikland Runefang keeping his leadership up. But, yeah, okay, here we go. Karl Franz diving into these Cold One Riders, going to try to get some terror on top of them, and he is regrouping with a lot of Empire chaff units right now. Terror kicking in over here, and look, he's finally got a little pocket of allies. Horned Ones diving in, but the Spearmen are nearby to intercept, and balance of power is still going further and further towards the Lizardmen. And if the Empire can't get their Jade Wizard out of here, I think that's going to be all she wrote, because you need some heals at this point in the battle. Fireballs coming in, doing quite good work. Horned Ones low on health, but still able to pull out, surprisingly, but they're getting shot by some handguns too. And at this point, I'd love to see the Empire just play it safe, play it patiently, and see what they can bring back to the field here. And also split up this blob. Those fireballs are going to be devastating if you don't take care of it. Horned Riders duking it out here with Karl Franz. And I don't know if Karl's going to come out on top or not. Rampage is going to kick in. Their leadership is going to start suffering. And since Karl's 600 health points, these guys are at 1,000. Going down, though, as Karl gets a good attack in there. And Silver Bullets are attacking. But now, Karl Franz, you need to get out of there, buddy. Oh, no. Saurus Oldblood is coming in, and that's going to be the end of it, guys. No way Karl Franz survives that. And unless a net of a Mintok save his life, he is going to die. There he goes. Karl Franz, dead as a doornail. Saw it here first. As Karl Franz dies, the Empire will break, shatter, and that will be a GG and a great series to Tlaxtlan Soothsayer, winning that in a 3-1 fashion. Want to give a big shout out to Xiphos for playing some really good games. This game was very, very well played as well. The last one was beautiful. Saw a big upset for Wood Elves defeating Bretonnians. And in this one, a very close battle between the Empire and the Lizardmen, and really coming down to the wire. I think in the very end of it, the main thing that made the Lizardmen win here was just that snap in the middle of the Empire line. I think Xiphos played it beautifully. But yeah, it was just maybe keeping the handgunners a bit further back with the halberds. I mean, with the Demogryph Knights with halberds would have played off better in the end. Because it seems to me that the Silver Bullets and the handgunners did get shut down a bit quickly. And if he would have timed his nets of a Mintok better, to where Karl Franz was diving down when the handguns were already in place, I think he could have won that. But maybe a bit overeager in the use of magic for that Ancient Salamander engagement. Karl Franz wasn't able to kill him quickly enough, and I think that net initially should have been saved for a bit of a better opportunity to where he really could have punished somebody. Because right there, that big net cost a lot of wins of magic, and he wasn't able to finish off the Ancient Salamander or any of the Cav units with it. So, great game to both players, though. That was beautiful. Wonderful third place final.